Hello everyone, welcome to this session. In this session, we shall solve this problem, a very interesting problem and a very simple problem. The problem is, if Z1 and Z2 are complex numbers and Z1 minus Z2 bar and Z1 into Z2 are both reals, that is real numbers, then prove that either both Z1 and Z2 are real numbers or one is the conjugate of the other. That is, in this problem, the hypothesis is this. So, assuming Z1 and Z2 are complex numbers, provided these two are real numbers, we have to prove that either of two cases holds. That is, either of these two cases. One is both Z1 and Z2 are reals, or one is the conjugate of the other. That is, either Z1 is the conjugate of Z2 bar or Z2 is the conjugate of Z1. So, we have to prove any one of these two cases always holds. So, solution. So, first of all, given Z1 and Z2 are complex numbers. So, we shall take those as, say, let Z1 be, it is a complex number, means it will be of the form a plus ib, or I will take it as x1 plus i1. Whatever the notation you want, you can take it, and let Z2 to be say x2 plus i y2. Okay. Now they have given that Z1 and Z2 bar, Z1 into Z2 are real numbers. So, first we shall evaluate these two using Z1 and Z2. Right? Now, consider Z1 minus Z2 bar. Z1 is x1 plus iy1 minus Z2 bar. That means its conjugate. It is x2 minus iy2. So, what is this? It is x2. I will directly separate the real and imaginary parts. X1 minus x2 plus, so iy1 minus 2 minus plus iy2. So, it is I into y1 plus y2. Now, as z1 minus z2 bar is a real number, it is a real number means it will not have imaginary part. That means the imaginary part has to be 0, which means y1 plus y2 has to be 0. So, now since Z1 minus Z2 bar is real, the imaginary part of this complex number, that is y1 plus y2, has to be 0. Or in other words, I can write y1 is nothing but minus y2. So, call this as equation 1. I got one observation, I got some fact using Z1 minus Z2 bar is a real. Now, we shall do the same thing with Z1 into Z2. And now, consider Z1 into Z2, that is x1 plus iy1 into x2 plus iy2. Now, multiply these two complex numbers. So, multiplication will be x1 x2 minus y1 y2 plus I into x1 y2 plus x2 y1. So, this will be the product of these two complex numbers. Once again, Z1 and Z2 is given to be a real number, which means, once again, since Z1 into Z2 is real, its imaginary part, that is x1 y2 plus x2 y1 has to be equal to 0. Then, so now use this fact. So, y1 is nothing but minus y2. So, x1 y2 as it is plus x2 into, in place of y1, I can write minus y2. So, which is equal to 0. That is x1 y2 minus x2 y2 is 0. Now, y2 is common. So, x1 minus x2 into y2 is equal to 0. Okay, now we have product of two real numbers is equal to 0. So what it means? So any one of these two has to be 0. So both can also be 0. So what happens if both the numbers are equal to 0? If both x1 minus x2 is 0 and y2 is 0. So what happens in that case? So x1 will be equal to x2, y2 will be 0. So if I substitute y2 is equal to 0, y1 will also be 0. y1 will also be 0. So in that case, what will be z1 and z2? So z1 will be just x1 and z2 will be just x2. And that means x2 will be again x1. So z1 and z2 will be one and the same. In that case, both will hold. So both the cases will hold. So we will neglect that case. So we have product of two numbers here. Product of two numbers. If both the numbers are equal to 0, then there is nothing to prove here. So both the cases will hold, right? So if both x1 minus x2 is 0 and y2 is 0, then in that case we get z1 equal to z2. z1 equal to z2. In that case, both will be reals and also one is the conjugate of other. So there is nothing to argue in this case. So we'll eliminate that case. So we will not consider the case where both are equal to 0. So we consider either of the numbers are 0. So which implies either x1 minus x2 is equal to 0 or y2 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, if y2 is equal to 0, then we have y1 is minus y2, so which will also be equal to 0. But then so z1 will be, so what is actually z1? z1 was x1 plus iy1. So y1 is 0 means z1 will be just x1 and z2 will be just x2, and which are real numbers, which are reals. So whenever y2 is equal to 0, z1 and z2 will be reals. Now, what if x1 minus x2 is 0? If x1 minus x2 is equal to 0, then x1 is equal to x2. x1 is equal to x2. But then, so I'll start with z1. What is z1? It is x1 plus iy1. So x1 is nothing but x2 plus I into y1 is nothing but minus y2. Or it is x2 minus iy2. And what is this? It is nothing but the conjugate of the complex number z2, because z2 was x2 plus iy2. Its conjugate is x2 minus iy2. So it is z2 bar. So what we got here? z1 is the conjugate of z2, or you can prove the other way also. That is, you can prove that z1 is actually the conjugate of z2. So that is, z1 is the conjugate of z2. So thus we proved the problem. So actually we started with the fact that z1 minus z2 bar and z1 into z2 are real numbers, and this led into this observation. That means any one of these two numbers has to be 0. If this number is 0, then 1 is the conjugate of other, and if this number is 0, both are real numbers. That means either both are real numbers or 1 is the conjugate of other. So which proves the problem, which is a very simple problem, and we proved it. without any efforts. Okay, now I consider on one more problem. The problem is to find the value of 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I power n, where n is any integer, any non-negative integer. That is, so n is a non-negative integer means n can take only the values 0, 1, 2, 3, so on, and all positive values. So now we have to find the value of 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I power n, where n is any non-negative integer. Right? Now we can solve this with a previous idea of finding powers of phi. So previously we got we derived a formula to find I power n, where n is any non-negative integer. Whenever n is any non-negative integer, we found a method to calculate what is I power n without lots of effort. With ease of effort, we can find I power n whenever n is a non-negative integer. And how we did this? So it is easy to calculate I square, I power 3, I power 4. I square is minus 1, I power 3 is minus I, and I power 4 is plus 1. Now among these three, the simplest one is I power 4 is equal to 1. So if you raise any power to 1, so it is always 1. So no need to worry about the I power 4 part. So using this idea, what we will do is, given any non-negative integer n, we will divide it by 4. Then by division algorithm, there exists a unique pair of integers q and r, that is quotient and remainder, such that n will be equal to 4q plus r, where remainder will be, if you divide any number by 4, the possible remainders will be 0, 1, 2 or 3, any one of these 4 values. So in that case, n can be written as 4q plus r. So I power n will be I power 4q plus r, just using simple law of indices, I power 4 whole power q into I power r. So you no need to worry about this value, it is always 1, because I power 4 is 1, 1 power any number is 1 itself. So just you have to worry about this value, and it is very easy to calculate, as r has only these 4 possibilities. If r is 0, it is 1, if r is 1, it is I, if r is 2, it is minus 1, and if r is 3, it is minus I. So what it means? So I power n has only 4 possibilities based on the remainder got by dividing n by 4. So this is the case where we have to calculate I power n. So we will apply the same method to this problem also, wherein we have to evaluate 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I power n. So what shall we do is, first we shall calculate power 2, power 3, power 4, and we shall express any power n in terms of multiples of 4 and remainder. Okay, first of all, we have 1 plus I whole square. So what is 1 plus I whole square? It is of the form a plus b whole square. So a square plus b square. B square is I square is minus 1 plus 2 into a into b. It is 2i. So plus 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. It is just 2i. Next, power 1 plus I power 3. So it is a plus b whole cube, or we can split this, 1 plus I power 2 into 1 plus I. So as we have already simplified 1 plus I whole square, it will be bit simpler. So 2i into 1 plus I, or it is 2i, 1 into 2i is 2i, 2i into I means 2i whole square. I square is minus 1. So it will be minus 2. So 2i into 1 is 2i. 2 into I square. I square is minus 1. So 2i minus 2. So next 1 plus I power 4. 1 plus I power 4. So what is 1 plus I power 4? So we can simply factorize it as 1 plus I whole square into 1 plus I whole square. It is 2i into 2i. 2i into 2i. Right? 2 into 2 is 4. I into I is I square. I square is minus 1. So it will be minus 4. Minus 4. Okay. Now, similarly, we shall calculate finite powers of 1 minus I. So, 1 minus I whole square. It is A minus B whole square formula. A square plus B square minus 2AB. So, once again 1 minus 1 gets cancelled, we will be remained with minus 2I. Now 1 minus I whole cube, it is 1 minus I whole square into 1 minus I. 1 minus I whole square is minus 2I into 1 minus I. Okay. So minus 2I into 1 is minus 2I, minus to minus plus, minus to minus plus, I into I square again. So it will be minus 2. Now 1 minus I whole power 4. So it is 1 minus I whole square into 1 minus I whole square. So it is minus 2I into minus 2I. Minus 2I. So minus to minus plus again, 2 into 2 is 4, I into I square minus. So once again it is minus 4. Now you can observe here, among these three powers 1 plus I power 4 and 1 minus I power 4 have simple values. That means in terms of real values, and remaining to have imaginary values whose power, raising its power is little bit difficult, right? So we will choose the power 4 once again to divide n. So once again, by division algorithm, what we have, n. Now divide n by 4, you will get a pair of integers q and r, such that n is equal to 4q plus r, where r takes any one value among 0, 1, 2 or 3. Now use this representation. So divide n by 4. In that case, n can be written as n is equal to 4q plus r, where r is any one among this. For example, 7. Take 7 itself. So divide 7 by 4. Divide 7 by 4. So 4 ones are 4. Remainder is 3. So we can express 7 in terms of 4q plus r. Actually, this is the remainder when you divide 7 by 4, and 1 is the quotient. And I have done this in general. That's it. Okay. Now, so as there are cases, right, when you divide any non-negative integer by 4, so remainders has these 4 possibilities. Remainder could be 0, that means if you divide 8 by 4, remainder is 0. If you divide 9 by 4, remainder is 1, like this. So if you divide any non-negative integer, remainders has possibilities. It could be 0, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3. So based on the possibilities, we shall see what would be the value of this number. So now case 1, if r is equal to 0, that means if the remainder is 0, then so if r is equal to 0 in this representation, means n will be of the form 4q. Now consider the number 1 plus I whole power n plus 1 minus I whole power n. So 1 plus I whole power n, in place of n I can write 4q. So 1 plus I power 4q plus 1 minus I power 4q. Now use law of indices. A power m into n is a power m whole power n. So it is 1 plus I power 4 power q plus 1 minus I power 4 power q. So 1 plus I power 4. So what is that? It is minus 4. Minus 4 power q plus 1 minus I power 4 is once again minus 4 power q. So what it means? So it is 2 times minus 4 power q. But given an n, no need to find the quotient when it is divided by 4. So just solve it for n. So using this equation, solve it for q, q will be n by 4, that is 2 into minus 4 by minus 4 power n by 4. So whenever n is divisible by 4, right? So whenever r is 0 means n will be divisible by 4. So in that case the value of this number is 2 into minus 4 power n power 4. So next case, so case 2. So case 2 is if r is 1. If r is equal to 1, then so n will be of the form 4q plus 1. 4q plus 1. Now once again consider the same number 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I whole power n. So it will be 1 plus I power n, in place of n 4q plus 1, 1 minus I power 4q plus 1. So split the powers. So a power m plus n is a power m into a power n. So 1 plus I power 4q into 1 plus I power 1. Its power 1 is the value is itself. The next 1 plus 1 minus I power 4q into 1 minus I power 1. It is 1 minus I itself. Next. Okay. So once again, so what is this value? 1 plus I power 4 power q is, this value is minus 4 into minus 4 power q 1 plus I plus this is also minus 4 power q 1 minus I. Right? We can take minus 4 power q common. So it will be 1 plus I plus 1 minus I. Plus 1 minus I. So plus I minus I gets cancelled. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So once again we got 2 into minus 4 power q. Now in this case solve for q. So send 1 this side, it will be n minus 1 by 4. So 2 into minus 4 power. So the value of q from this equation is n minus 1 by 4. The case 3, if r is equal to 2, then n will be of the form 4q plus 2. In this case 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I power n. It will be 1 plus I power 4q plus 2 plus 1 minus I power 4q plus 2 is equal to 1 plus I power 4q into 1 plus I square. once again 1 minus I power 4q into 1 minus I whole square. Now just substitute the values. 1 plus I power 4q is actually minus 4 in power q. 1 plus I whole square is 2I plus this is minus 4 power q. 1 minus I whole square, it is actually minus 2I. It is minus 2I. So this value plus into minus minus this value. So it will be just 0 because minus 4 power q 2I plus into minus 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 4 power q 2I. So it will be 0. So whenever the remainder is 2, the value of this number is 0. Now the last case, that is case 4, that is if remainder is 3, then n takes the value 4q plus 3. In this case 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I power n. So what it will be? 1 plus I power 4q plus 3 plus 1 minus I power 4q plus 3. So it is, split the value, 1 plus I power 4q into 1 plus I power 3. Here 1 minus I power 4q into 1 minus I power 3. Next, substitute the values. So 1 plus I power 4q is minus 4 power q into 1 plus I whole q. It is 2I minus 2 plus 1 minus I whole power 4q is minus 4 power q. 1 minus I whole cube is minus 2I minus 2. So if you take minus 4 whole power q common, so 2I minus 2 minus 2I minus 2. 2I minus 2I gets cancelled, so we got minus 4. So minus 4 power q into minus 4 power 1. So it will be minus 4 power q plus 1. Now substitute the value of q with this equation. So minus 4 q is n minus 2 by 4. N minus 2 by 4 plus 1. N value is 4q plus 3. So q will be n minus 3 by 4 plus 1. So it is minus 4 power 4 ones are 4. So it will be n plus 1 by 4. N plus 1 by 4. So this is the value of this number when remainder is 3. So just we can conclude this. Thus the value of 1 plus I power n plus 1 minus I whole power n is. So its value depends on the value of remainder, right? So if remainder is 0, n will be of the form 4q. In that case the value is, so what it we proved to be 2 into minus 4 power n by 4, right? And if n is of the form 4q plus 1, we proved it to be 2 into minus 4 power n minus 1 by 4. And if n is 4q plus 2, that is if remainder is 2, the value of this number is 0. And if the remainder is 3, that is if n is 4q plus 3, value is minus 4 power n plus 1 by 4, right? So this is the value of this number where n is any non-negative integer having these 4 forms based on the remainder when divided by 4.